I mean, one thing I've learned is that change, is constant, and everything changes, and your ability to adapt to the changes and to roll with those changes and go with the flow and stay in the now as much as possible is, I think, the key to enjoying life, is to be here now.
So let's kind of just get started with some of the basic things. What are your names?
Sergeant Pepper.
And I'm Fruit Snack. Fruit Snack.
Gotcha. Where are you guys coming from?
We started in Ashland, Oregon.
Ashland, Oregon.
That's where we came from.
But we travel all over the place, so that's just the last place we lived. But yeah.
Sounds like when we were talking a little bit earlier that you guys have done quite a bit of traveling. Do you find yourself out and about a lot? Maybe not in one particular spot?
Yeah, definitely. We travel all the time. We're always somewhere new. Yeah.
Like from 2018, when I started on the trail, I was just with a friend, and then I met him in North Carolina. From that point when we met till now, we've never had like a permanent home. We've always been on the road or in like a short-term housing placement. Yeah.
So we're nomads.
Nomads for the last 5 years and for the foreseeable future.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What did you introduce yourself? Did we get your name?
Oh yeah, I'm Fruit Snack.
Fruit Snack. Awesome.
Pepper.
Yep, we got that. So you mentioned that you guys met, was it 5 years ago already, 2018?
Yeah.
Where did you guys meet? You met on trail?
Yeah, right, coming out of the NOC Sassafras Gap shelter. We were playing spades, 3 guys, and needed a 4th player. And she walked in the shelter like right about that time, and I was like, hey, you want to play spades? We need a 4th player. And she
I love that game. So I
jumped
said,
in.
yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
And I remember it was cold and rainy, so I was like, I was wearing shorts because I just always did at that point. And so he had his quilt, and he said, do you want to share it? And I said, sure. And then that's how we met.
Solid move, man.
Yeah. And then we chatted at dinner, and then the next day he was hiking with me and my friend and I. And then when we stopped after like 6 miles, he stopped too, and I was like, okay. Yeah.
Pink blazing, man.
Nothing wrong with it.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what they call it.
It seems like it's worked out for you guys, so.
Oh, definitely. Well, I think that the trail is such a unique experience, and like what brings people to the trail, and then just the journey itself. My mom, before leaving, said, oh, you're gonna find your soulmate there. And I said, I don't think so. And she's like, no, you probably will. And I said, I don't even want to. And I think that's kind of why it happened. He didn't even really want to find anyone, but we both ended up with each other.
Well, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Happy for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you, when you guys started out in 2018, did you have any intentions of through hiking, or was that just a section hike? Or?
I think we both intended to through hike. We were through hikers throughout. I started to run into I was just overspending my budget, I think. In the first half, I was having too much fun, I think. So we got to Harper's Ferry, and I was down to like a couple $1,000 and said, I better call it quits, and come back and finish the other half later. But you know, we were torn about it and we talked it over a little bit, I remember, but we're like, you know, this isn't just like an adventure of a lifetime. Like for us, it's like a lifetime of adventure, you know. So we were cool with getting off and, you know, getting to know each other off trail a little bit, because we had just, you know, all of our life at that point had been on trail together, and I think we were looking forward to spending time together off trail a little bit. And we've done that now. We've you know, traveled around the world.
Yeah.
And we're back, and this time we're going all the way.
Yeah, there's nothing that's gonna stop us. Yeah, I'd say 2018, I was so excited to thru hike. I went to summer camp when I was a kid, and so we were up in the Whites in New Hampshire. And there were these two women at Mizpah Spring Hut who were speaking about the AT, and they said they had hiked from Georgia all the way up to New Hampshire, and they were going to Maine. And they were probably in their like 50s, and my best friend and I said, let's do that when we're older. And her mom had hiked the AT, so it's not like, it wasn't like a crazy idea. It was like, yeah, let's do that. So then every year after that, we checked in with each other and said, we're gonna thru hike it, right? And so then in 2018 we started together, but then she got sick, so then she had to get off trail for like a month. So that kind of shifted things, and then I met him. But no, we had full intentions to thru hike in 2018. So I'm like, this has been a dream since I was 11. I'm 27 now, I still want to thru hike, and we're just starting together, which is cool.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. I like what you said about almost wanting to step off so you can explore a different part of your relationship with each other. I met my now fiance on trail, and we had a great dynamic out here. We realized, and you realize very quickly out here when you're hiking with each other if you're compatible or not. But I wouldn't say that being well-rounded and completely compatible, that you can, I guess, discover that completely on trail. I think there are other parts of life that, you know, it's different. You know, being out here, it's hard in a lot of ways. But being out there in the matrix, it's harder in different ways. So I wonder, what was that experience like for you guys, stepping off of the trail and into the matrix again?
It was an adventure, like every step, really. I mean, but it was, you know, it was great, you know, I think.
Yeah, I think, well, when we had met, like from that point on, we really spent so much time together. So when we got off, we had probably been together for like every single day for 3 months, which is a lot of time, because when relationships start out, it's like you normally don't spend 24/7 with them. So it's like we had talked about, I don't want to say like the simplest of things, but we talked about like our Chipotle orders, and like, do you do the dishes when you're at home, and like just kind of gauging, like, I know we're not in that world, but like, what does that world look like? And I think with his travel job, I knew it would be nothing like I had experienced before. Like with his travel job, he does have housing supplied, so it's not like, I know that rent can cause a lot of stress, and like finding housing and then like moving, like all of those kind of, I don't want to say normal things, but those things were kind of already taken out of the equation when we got together. But yeah, after the trail, we pretty much moved in together and then traveled again 3 months later and just kept doing that. So we went from one unique experience to another unique experience. We didn't go from like trail life to like, okay, let's have a lease together for a year and get jobs and pay bills and stuff. We went to like just another kind of lifestyle.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I want to kind of go back to that hike in 2018. You got off because you said that you were starting to run out of cash flow. you just didn't have enough money to get all the way through, and you are definitely not alone in that boat. At least you were not alone in that boat, because I see a lot of people come out here and eventually have to get off because of budget. Was when you came out, did you come out spontaneously? Did you have a plan? And if so, what were some of the things you were hearing about the trail in terms of how much money it would cost and what the budget would look like? How did you plan for that?
I think I had heard the $1,000 a month idea that was supposed to be the budget, but I thought that had included gear too. So I thought I was probably doing pretty well with. I think I might have had. I don't know what I had. I don't know. I don't remember, but it got, yeah, I didn't know how to plan it because I didn't know exactly what to expect, I guess. So I didn't know, how to, get that, the correct, I don't know. This will have to be cut because I'm stumbling all over this one.
Cool.
I don't know.
Well, can I tell the story about
Yeah.
Amicalola?
Yeah. For sure.
So, I mean, I didn't meet him until North Carolina, and I mean, I wasn't going to talk about finances immediately with him, but so this time around, we're at Amicalola Falls, the state park, and the lodge, and we got a room at the lodge because we didn't know about, I mean, one, he had done that the year before, or the 2018, but two, we didn't know that there was a tent city for $15. So right there is tent city for $15 or stay at Amicalola Lodge. So we stayed at the lodge, and then I was asking him about dinner, what do you want to do? And I said, well, I asked him, what did you do last time? Which probably wasn't the best question, but he said that he ordered a pizza. And I said, from where? And he said, I think room service. And I said, well, no wonder you ran out of money. You ordered a room service pizza at the lodge in 2018. So it's just kind of funny. I don't think he was that extra during 2018, but I was like, well, that's a great example of, no, we're doing this together. Let's go outside and make some ramen like the hikers we are.
Yeah.
She keeps me in line, I think. She helps with, lots of things, but that would be one of them.
Yeah, it's crazy just how much your budget can sneak up on you out here, especially when you're hiking with somebody. I mean, on my solo hike a few years ago, it was one thing because I can, spare a lot of certain comforts on my own. But when you're hiking with someone else, you want to treat each other nicely, go out to dinner. Sometimes you don't want to stay in hostels. You want to have your own hotel room. So it can add up very quickly. And yeah, that's a lesson I think a lot of people have to learn out here in general. And I would just say in general as well, it's a pretty large learning curve when you come out here, and you have to learn a lot very quickly. And I think that those of us who come out here, learn from their experience, and then come back out are all the better for it. I personally had that experience on a section hike. I was just like everyone else. I came out here, I had 40 pounds on my back, a backpack from Walmart. I was in a lot of pain. I hated it, but obviously, since you're back out here now, you have the will, you have the ambition to do this thing, and so I'm really happy for you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, we're committed to finishing, at Katahdin, and I think it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time, but excited.
So you guys are about to finish your first state. Get into North Carolina. What's the journey been like for you guys this year?
It's been great, really. I mean, I've really enjoyed every bit of it, because we've been away for 5 years, so it just feels good to come back in this lifestyle again, I think we've always we've remembered, obviously what it was like, and we just we're just happy to be back. Honestly, that's what it feels like for me.
Yeah, it feels like since 2018, every single year after that, we've been like, well, let's go back. But it was like injury, then COVID. And then 6 days before we were supposed to get on trail last year, he broke his toe. So it's like, we were so close. And then, I mean, we went on another epic trip. We went to like 50 national parks. So I'm like, can't complain. But one of the parks was the Smoky Mountains. And we stayed at the Mount Collins shelter, and we said, why don't we through hike it next year? Like, let's plan on that. And so I feel like it's just been a long time coming, and I think something that I've noticed this time around is that we're feeling really prepared mentally and physically. I think in 2018, I had the stuff, but I was carrying way too much. I had never really been backpacking before. I just knew I loved hiking and camping, and I just knew I wanted to do it. Whereas this time, it's like, I know I can do it. We have the gear that's dialed in. We're not like worried about rain. It's been cold, but it's nothing we can't handle. So I'm feeling really good, and I'm really happy that we're doing it together. I think that's been the best.
Does this feel like a completely new experience?
I would say yes and no. Like, I think we wanted it to be a completely new experience and embrace all the changes. I think obviously you have memories still like that are hard to, erase. So when you encounter something for a second time, you remember, people that you may have met in that place the last time, But it does feel like a new experience because there's new people, there's new faces, new people to meet, and obviously just the timing and she and I being together through this part of the journey makes it feel very new to me.
Yeah, I feel like it feels more new than anything because we talk about 2018, but at the same time, we like to just think, here we are, it's 2023, we're in this together, meeting all new people, and just, I mean, I think the weather has played it plays such a part on the trail because that's what you deal with. So it's like, comparatively, I feel like I've seen way more of the trail than I did back then. So that's all like, whoa, this is beautiful. Like 2018, it was like raining and snowing the first week. So it's been nice to have sunny days and views and just be out here. So yeah.
What's the social dynamic been for you two between, I mean, as a couple, being around other hikers, what has that been like?
I mean, it's a little different. Like the first time I got on, I was just a single guy at that time. So I think it was probably easier to connect with other single guys, and we, because we shared, I guess a lot in common. So you kind of formed that kind of a connection early on. And I remember the first time we had, me and a bunch of friends, and we were just all guys, and we just didn't seem to have any females in our tramily, and we're like, what's wrong with us? We got to get some females in the tramily, So we were like Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, we said. So, so that's kind of the connection with the Sgt. Pepper. I'm kind of bringing a memory I had from then back into this hike. But the very next night, as it turned out, after we had that conversation, is when I met Xiaoling here. So kind of funny. But yeah, but this time around, I think just because we're a couple, I think also because we have a little more of an idea of what we're doing and what to expect, that we kind of have plans maybe that we're not as willing to go off trail at different times, that maybe we'll lose touch with some of the people we've met, so our tramily kind of changes from day to day, it seems like, which has been fine. We're happy because at the end of the day, it's she and I are are
Oh,
the
tramway.
are the tramway, I guess, and
Which was,
You
yeah,
know.
kind of similar to 2018 too. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's also early. That's what we, like the first week we had beautiful weather and just like shorter miles. So we saw the same people pretty much like 4 nights in a row. So we definitely bonded with those people. And then once the rain hit, they all went into town and we weren't, yeah, we weren't gonna be going into town immediately. This was our first town stop. So we kind of all split at like Nails Gap. And I think, kind of like what I was saying, that there's a sort of difference of like we are physically, like with our gear, prepared and mentally prepared to go through all of the conditions. And we're taking it like steady. Like we zeroed into here and we'll zero out, but other people, they took zeros because of the rain, and then now they're doing 17 to make up for that and things like that, where it's like, we aren't gonna do that because we know we just did, like, that's not our style, that's not our plan. We like to wake up later. So things like that. If we meet those people who want to chill with us, we're welcome to it, but we'll just keep doing what we want to do and meet everyone along the way.
Does it feel like other hikers see you guys as your own unit, as your own tramline?
Probably, yeah. I think, if either one of us were by ourselves, I think there would feel like amongst the other thru hikers, like they wouldn't want to leave us on our own, so, join in kind of thing. But I think since she and I have each other, they're more likely to let us, because they're not even sure maybe if we want our own, privacy or something, which
That's true.
we now and then is nice, but for the most part, we're pretty open to being part of, of
Yeah.
a tramway, I think.
I'd say, like, literally at the end of the day, the two of us will always be together. But during the day, we hike apart, which I think I've definitely met some people, he's met some people, and so I think then people see us as individuals, but then we always will end up at the same place. So I kind of like that. Yeah, I always try to make sure that he has some space on his own and I get out there on my own too.
So you've been out here, what has it been, about a week now, just over a week?
Just over a week, yeah.
I'm sure you've learned a lot already collectively. So I'm curious if maybe there's one thing that really stands out in your minds in particular that you've learned on this journey, or collectively across the years in 2018 and then now, that you could share with the rest of the world, the people watching, whether it be just for themselves as individuals or together as a couple. Would you have anything to say?
Let me think on that one for a minute.
Yeah. I mean, one thing I've learned is that change, is constant, and everything changes, and your ability to adapt to the changes and to roll with those changes and go with the flow and stay in the now as much as possible is, I think, the key to enjoying life, is to be here now.
I like that. I was gonna say, I think something that I've learned is that, like, you, in like the general sense, you're always supported, and I think you truly feel it out here on the AT because the community is so strong. But through like the trail angels and people at hostels, fellow hikers are always cheering each other on and helping each other out. And then just like people online, it's always so nice to get like comments of like, oh, that's so inspiring, I want to do that, like that's cool that you're doing it, I'm gonna start planning now, things like that. But just knowing that everything will work itself out, even along all the bumps in the road, like what you're saying of just change is constant and to go with the flow. I feel like I've really taken the message that the universe is always working with me and not against me, because I'm like, what's the point in believing that things aren't going to work out? I'd rather believe that things will. I feel like we've gotten really fortunate on our last 2 resupplies. One of them we got fuel from a fellow hiker who went stoveless, and then yesterday we got a bunch of good to go meals because someone didn't need their meals and like things like that. I'm like, wow, it's all working out. Like things, little small things and then general things. I'm like, it's nice to know that we're always supported.
It's a great way of looking at it. The things aren't working against you; they're just working.
Yeah.
And that's really just a matter of perspective and attitude. And I think you guys have a great attitude. And I like what you said about being here now, being present. And I'm certainly happy and I'm very thankful that you guys are here with me now. And I've really enjoyed your company here at this hostel. I think that your love for one another really kind of radiates and shines through. And you guys are really solid individuals, and I've just appreciated your company here. And I know that y'all will do just fine, and I wish you the best of luck. Enjoy the journey.
Yes, it has been such a pleasure meeting you.
Thanks, guys.
Yay!
Good work.
Yay! Aww.